In the previous class, we had gone up till the verse number 91. We were doing it, and there is a beautiful discussion over there. We are discussing now Prarabdha. So, we have already understood the whole dialogue which was going on between what is Atma and what is Anatma, and how the Anatma, because of powerful force of superimposition, and that force of superimposition emerges because of our long sanskara, our obsession with a certain way of looking at things. And that's how the rope appears as snake in what is Param Brahma, which is Sarva Adhisthana, which is the basic foundation. We aren't being able to see it, and what we see is not fundamentally real. That's what we have been discussing, all that. And once you know, he mentioned that earlier, a few verses, that Atmanam Satatam Janan, by knowing this Atma, Kalam Naya Mahadvite, He Mahadviti, you are luminous one, spend your time. Once you know that Atma, there's nothing else to be done. Prarabdham Akhilam Bhunjan. Now Dvegam Kartumarhasi. Now all the Prarabdha follow what you have in you. There is a bit of a contradictory statement here. We have the Adhyaropa Apavada Nyaya even earlier. Here Prarabdha is accepted as an intermediate hypothesis. Please pay attention to this particular small thing. Prarabdha is not a fundamental truth, it's a powerful hypothesis without which we cannot explain sukha dukha in our lives, the whole experience of our phenomenal life during Jagrat Kala, during Swapna Kala, all that we experience, whatever we experience has to be considered real. May not be fundamentally real, but that is in some way real. And we will not be able to make sense of it if we do not have that handle, that conceptual tool to make sense of this samsara. That is why the prarabdha word comes in, jivatma comes in, sukshma sarira, sthula sarira, all these that we did in Viveka Chudamani are very relevant. But they are not the ultimate truth. To give a small example, because we are now getting into that domain, I want to just make it very simple. Say in algebra in school, when we do not know the exact value of a variable, we say let's assume x, and we start working out the equations. And in those equations, we don't know the value of that particular thing you're looking for. You're using the alphabet x, and we are being able to equate in 2x, 3x, x square, x cube, all that we do. We don't know what is that x. It works. But x is not the real value of that variable which we are trying to understand, determine, explore, figure out what is its real value. Until then, we call it x, it works for us. Similarly, this samsara, the phenomenal reality, may not be fundamentally real, but for our sadhana, in Panchadasi, there is a discussion that this phenomenal world is real or completely unreal. They said, no. There is something called Jiva Srishti, there is something called Ishvara Srishti. Whatever is given by God is sadhaka, helpful. Whatever is not given by God but is your own creation, that is badhaka. That creates craving, that creates attachments, and we get trapped in different kinds of, different modes of intentionality emerges in us, and we go and engage with different things. We come back unhappy. There is Jiva Srishti and Ishvara Srishti. Whatever we mentalize, we project, we get obsessed with, that's our problem. But the basics, water, soil, sun, light, air, given by God, they are useful for your meditation on the truth, not to reject them. Basic things are real. There's nothing problematic about it. Similarly, now, the prarabdha word, once we accept all these sadhanas, all these courses that we did in Bhagavad Gita, different courses of action, different courses of sadhana that we talked about, they will become meaningless without some explanation as to how we have got this body and how some people appear to suffer or encounter pain and pleasure, even though Bhagavan has clarified in Bhagavad Gita, this Titarthi is one who is Sukhesu Vigata spriha dukhesu anadvignamanaha. He has no concern with anything. But then he's still passing through like sarva bhuta hite rataha. There are many statements. And therefore, a student generally easily gets very confused. And that confusion is now being answered by the Acharya in a few verses, starting from 91 till 99. So it's a very important section that we are dealing with today. And so far, we have always discussed that prarabdha karma doesn't go away. Shanchita and Chiyante Chasya Karmani in Bhagavad Gita. What are the karmas? You destroy all the karmas once you have Atma Jnana. Then the Tikakaras and commentators say karmani doesn't mean all karmas. Prarabdha karmas will stay, will continue to hassle you until the body falls. Only after you have Videha Mukti. That is what the Shastras have said. So a person is a little confused. And that Bhagavan Shankaracharya, having talked about Prarabdha in a big way, is now going to give a different answer. This answer is nuanced. It's not an either or answer. This tells us what is the fundamental truth. At the same time, how to do our sadhana, therefore accept Prarabdha karma at a certain level. And then knowing fully well that ultimately it doesn't exist. For whom? The Jnani. That is what is the context today. So, first he says, Atmanam Satatam. He says, you just do once you know Prarabdha, certain things are there. So, no udvegam kartum arhasi. You should never be udvigna. You should not have any udvega, no chita chanchalya, no kind of irritation, stress, anxiety. These are not meant for you. That is the 89, 90 what he said. Utpanyatma vijnane prarabdham naima munchati. Because why? You cannot wish away prarabdha. Iti just ruyate sastre tan nirakriyate dhuna. Then he suddenly twists the whole discussion and says, but my son, please understand this. The Guru is telling the student. You have heard about prarabdha in a big way, and in very many verses you have heard how prarabdha continues to linger in the life of a Jivana Mukta. There are several examples by Vidyaranya Muni, even in Panchadasi. One good example is that in a dark room you enter, you see a snake. Actually, it was a rope. Suddenly switched on the lamp, you saw, no, it's a rope. But your heart continues to beat for a while, very rapidly. Why so? Because avarana is gone, Bhikshepa stays. That is how Ishvara has no ajnana, there is no avarana, but he has Bhikshepa Sakti because of his Maya's Bhikshepa Sakti enables God to create all this. There has to be some power of Maya with him. He doesn't have avarana, but Bhikshepa is there, then only multiple things appear to be real. So that heartbeat continues to remain rapid for a while. The cause of this fear is gone. The effect continues for a while. Like, for example, you're watching something very luminous in the sky, like a rocket is fired or something. It gets extinguished, even then you continue to see something luminous for a few seconds, microseconds. So it's like that. He's saying, Utpanne api atma vijnane. Whenever you have atma vijnana, prarabdham na eva munchati. Prarabdha doesn't go away anywhere. Iti yad sruyate. That which you have heard, sastre, in different books. Tat, that, nirakriyate adhuna. That I shall remove today from your mind. I'll help you to understand that that is not the ultimate truth. You have been told about it, that's fine. Is it a fundamental truth? No, it's not. Why did you tell me about it? In order to help you understand that it's useful, but not the ultimate truth. Why not the ultimate truth? Ultimate truth is only one. Brahman is there. Other than Brahman, all others are intermediate level hypothetical truths. I mean, they are kind of hypotheses. They work. They're fine. They are Vyavaharika Satya. They are all fine. But they are not ultimate truth. These are presumptions. And presumptions which work. These are working presumptions. These are working theories. Fundamentally not real. Fundamentally real is only one, that is Param Brahma. And that is the fundamental message of the Bhagavad Gita, of the Vedas and everything. So Shankaracharya will say, so at one level we say nothing exists, only one Brahman exists. Another level, Shruti refers to different kinds of multiplicities, Ishvara and Atma and Jivatma, Karma, Papa, Punya. They are not real. They are real in a relative sense. They are relative truths. That is what is the truth he is trying to drive home. Very interesting. Then, in the verse number 91, that is what we had done in the previous class. Tattvajnanodayat urdhvam prarabdham naiva vidyate dehadinam asatyatvad yatha swapno vibodhataha. Why prarabdha is not fundamentally real, he is explaining. But for whom? For the jnani. Huh? Let's keep that in mind. So what is he trying to say? Tattvajnana udayat. Once Tattvajnana udaya, the emergence interest in you, you have self-realization. That has featured, that has manifested in you. Once that happens in us, then what happens next? Urdhvam, after that. Prarabdham. Prarabdha is what? An arrow which has been shot. It's like, and there is no iron dome system here. That is the interesting thing. No iron dome system. Once the bullet has been fired, it loses momentum and fall, not until it has exhausted this power, the force that it's carrying. There's nothing to negate it on the way. So it has to travel all the way. So what are you saying? Tattvajnana udayat urdhvam. That means after prarabdham na eva vidyate, that doesn't even exist. You're saying something contradictory, right? How? You're saying, look, prarabdha is associated with what? What prarabdha is related to? Prarabdha gives you this body. When you are born, there's some calculation. The supercomputer called God makes some calculations and says for the next birth, what form this guy is going to take or this girl is going to take. Whether it's going to be a guy or a girl or anything, or they, whatever. The karmas are calculated and there is somebody sent here. That is what the Shastra says. Therefore, he is saying that dehadinam asatyatvad. So, prarabdha has given you this body. Is this body real? Very profound question he is saying. Prarabdha has created, that is the karana. What is the karya? What is the product? Product is this body. Is this body real? Some particular, bring it to our everyday lives. There is a particular, some trigger you don't know. It creates in you certain confusion which has no real basis. Later on you realize it was faulty. It was perverse. It has no reality in it. Now, ask yourself, that particular cause of it, whether somebody made a snide remark or made some statement, or you read it somewhere, or struck you, whatever cause thereof, can it be real? When what the product you have in your hands, you realize is completely unreal, therefore the cause cannot be real. Now you're saying prarabdha is giving rise to what? This body. Is this body real? No, it's a superimposition. Because you have done enough in the Tattva Bodha, Atma Bodha, then Vivek Chudamani. Your body cannot be you. Body cannot be self. Body is not pure Atma. Why? You have the body. Body is coming and going. How can it be real? Bhagavad Gita whole through they discuss it. Body is not real. Then how can Atma, this Prarabdha be real? So he's saying, Dehadinam asatyatvad. How? Yatha swapno vibhodataha. It appears, the body appears real, so far we hear. And swapnaha, in the dream world, you are seeing something that is very real at that moment. And when you wake up, where does that dream world go? There is some certain unimaginable beauty of a garden. And you are sitting on a swing. You have become a little child again. You are playing with some wonderful, wise kids all around you. You are having some fun and you're having a party, you're having a picnic. There is a spring. You can jump into it. You can enjoy the spring, but spring doesn't push you. It's like Alice in the Wonderland. This dream reality is so enchanting. You are realizing it. You're saying, my God, I don't want my job, I don't want my family. You don't bother about it. You are enjoying that place. Then sleep breaks because of the alarm clock. It's another manic Monday. Wishing it was Sunday. You are up. It's morning. You have to dress up. You have to get ready for your job. What happens to that dream? Yatha swapnaha vibodhataha. Once you wake up, this whole wonderful reality of which you are a part is gone. And that is what he's saying. That same way, this body and everything appears real so far. You're around so far. You do not realize it's unreality. Once you realize it's unreality, it's not real. Then what is the need for assuming prarabdha to be a very, very undeniable valid category? Let it be a conceptual tool, no problem. But it's fundamentally real? Now, asking too much. That's not something I can negotiate with you. That is the approach of the Acharya. Then in the next verse, we are going there. Let's look at the commentary in the 91, because there are certain interesting things he's mentioning. Vastu tatu prarabdham eva nasti kuto bhoga. If there were prarabdha, then you will have prarabdha bhoga. If there is a problem, you will have to solve it, but problem doesn't exist. Siro nasti siropida. Bhoga bhave kutha udvega karanam. If prarabdha is there, then you have to suffer it. Then there is anxiety. Prarabdha doesn't exist. Then how can you experience it? And if there is no fear of experience, where is anxiety from? What is the cause of it? No. Tad abhave, and when there is no anxiety, tad abhave cha kutastha kutaha taram tan nishedhopadesha. Prarabdha is not there. Suffering is not possible. Therefore, any anxiety born out of thoughts about that suffering is irrelevant. Why should Shastra waste its energy to advise us how to negate, fight, mitigate the evil consequences of prarabdha? It's non-existence. You must try to have this anti-snake venom with you. And then you eat it tonight, and then you have to put it as soon as that snake comes and bites you. There is no snake, that's a rope. All these advice and medicine somebody dumps on you, you just switch on the lamp and says, yeah, but keep it with you. Thanks for all your help. But that was born of your seeing a rope there, but it is actually a rope. Why are you giving me this medicine? Won't you say that to him? That is what the Acharya is telling us, that why bother about prarabdha when it is not real? Iti Vedanta Siddhanta Rahasyam Vaktam Pratijanite Acharya. Acharya is now advising us. Atra Iyam Prakriya, in this particular way of argumentation and explanation, Yagat Pratitihi Tridha. So you have to understand what is the Prakriya. In Vedanta, this word Prakriya is very important. They will explain you something through Abhinaya, so using certain examples, giving you certain examples and illustrations, giving you some logical arguments, quoting some Shastra Vakyas, Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava. Using these three, they'll create a thing to explain whether it's real or unreal. Then hold us beholden to it. Then tell us some advice. Give us some advice. Do this or do that. That is doing, Prakriya is doing. Jagat Pratitihi Tridha. There are three kinds of appearance of the sansara. Laukiki, Sastriya, Laukiki, Anubhaviki. One is Sastriya. Whatever you read in the Shastras, it says sansara is like this. Another is Laukiki, means whatever is born out of your logical deductions. Whatever you call rational understanding. It is appearing like this, it must be like this. Finally, Anubhaviki, whatever you experience. Then, so this is Shruti, Yukti, Anubhava, three things come in here. Tatra Adya, the first one, Shastriya thing, whatever is mentioned there about sansara, is Paramarthiki. Sadeva Somya Idam Agrasit is only one truth. That is what Shastriya, appearance of the Prapancha. Ditya Aparamarthiki. The second one is not Paramarthika. Tritiya to Pratibhasiki. The third one is actually just a delusional appearance. Why so? We experience a lot of things and they are not real. We experience a lot of things, and it happens every day. Sometimes, if you are on a fast, you see a red color tennis ball, may look like an apple to you. And we have a lot of psychological research on that, how that happens. Then he says, Tasam, of these three things, Nibriti tu Kramad. Then how do you get liberation from this prapancha? What is Sastriya? There are certain Sastra Vakyas that God created, and then He entered everything. All the Shruti Vakyas are there about Srushti. It cannot be refuted as zero. How do you get liberated from there? Then he's saying, Kramad, one by one. Vedanta Sravanadi Traya Sakshatkara Prarabdhakhya Prarabdhakhya Prarabdhakhyahi bhavati na anyatha iti. So broadly what they say, kramat, one by one, you will do Vedanta Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, and then all the Vedas, Upanishads you study, then you have Atma Sakshatkara, and then finally what happens after Atma Jnana? You did your sadhana, you did your coursework, you submitted your thesis, you got a PhD thing. That is your Brahma Jnana. And then you have to get rid of one thing. You have to pay the dues in the college wherever you enroll in the university, and then you have to clear the bills and get a clearance. The library, the health club, the gym, everyone will give you a clearance. Then you have that SLC or school living certificate or the university living certificate. They'll issue that your degree is complete. You have the degree. First, you get the degree, it's declaration, everything. You have got everything, but clearance you are not getting. Once you get everything, then you are free from that university. Similarly, we have first Sravana Manana Nididhyasana Sadhana, then we have Atma Jnana, then you have to have Prarabdha Kya, then we will be no Punarjama again. After Atma Jnana, because there is no Punarjama, but this Janma will continue with a lot of problems. After Atma Jnana, you will not become God or anything. You will remain human. You will be standing in long queues. You will be watching the unwanted news about war which is going on in different parts of the world. So these things will continue. So there is no, there is no escape from the samsara that you are experiencing. That is what he's explaining, that these things we have to accept. There is no way that we can escape it. Now, he's going further. He's saying, look here, tatra iyam pratigya anya pratiti abhiprayana iti jnatavyam slokarthastu sputayeva. So he's saying, look here, please understand this. Thakur Ramakrishna Paramahansa, because of throat cancer, you're suffering enormous amount of pain. You had a sleepless night. You had a miserable weekend. All these statements which are shared among the devotees, among the followers, the doctors, the helpers, the assistants, it's relevant and real in their minds and their words. For Thakur, the one who is Atmajnani, these things mostly didn't matter mostly. He was Atmajnani. So he's saying because of somebody else's perception that what prarabdha comes. It's like there's this great sociologist, German sociologist Max Weber. He was trying to explain what it means to have charisma. It's very charismatic. We say this. He says charisma is power attributed by an admirer or a follower to some person. Napoleon's charisma didn't lie in him. Napoleon's charisma lied in his followers, because of which he was very powerful. So sometimes certain charismatic figures may suddenly turn out to be powerless because people lose their faith in them. It has happened to many people. You have seen that. Many of these dictators who are very charismatic, they were nowhere after some time at the end of their lives. It's quite possible. The prarabdha, similarly, in a very different way, in a different sense, in a different context, is very similar. It's in the eyes of somebody else who is watching the jnani. He's saying because of prarabdha, he's suffering. Because of prarabdha, without much sadhana, look, he's enjoying life. But for the Atmajnani, whether somebody touched his feet, somebody misbehaved with him, makes no difference if he's a real Atmajnani. So for him, it's all irrelevant. For others, it's very relevant. That is the minimum point, is small point he's trying to make. Verse number 92. Karma janmant. Then he's now to explain how that it is, how this prarabdha works and all he's explaining. And he's trying to refute the argument that prarabdha is real. Karma janmantariyam yat prarabdham iti kirtitam tattu janmantara bhavat pungsha nevasti karhichit. He's saying, my dear friend, please listen to me. Karma janmantariyam. Prarabdha is of this life? No. We have three kinds of karmas. We have discussed it several times. Prarabdha is a sum total of certain karmas done by you in previous lives. Sanchita is the complete universe of karmas over billions of lives we have. Limitless lives. Because Jiva by nature is Anadi. There is no beginning of Ajnana, Jiva, Ishvara, Veda. There are six Anadis. Therefore, what he says here is Karma janmantariyam yat, that karma prarabdham iti kirtitam. That is what we refer to as prarabdha. Prarabdha phala, that prarabdha will give some phala, but that prarabdha is an accumulation of certain karmas during your previous lives. Tattu, and that prarabdha janmantara bhavat, there is no janma. Janmantara abhavat. How there is no janma? Atma is nishkala, nishkriya. It has no birth and death. Bhagavan has mentioned it. So in the chapter 2 itself, he made it very clear. Look here, the stula, sukshma, sarira, they travel. Atma doesn't travel. It's never born. It never dies. Who can kill it? He said all that. There's no birth and death. These are intermittent delusions. And these delusions apply to what? The sthula and sukshma sarira, the panchokoshatmaka avastha, which are imposed on that pure self. They are the ones who are traveling and jumping and dancing, whatever. Yourself, no. It cannot do that. Why? No, to dance, you need space. You need music, this thing, nothing outside of it. All that can happen is in terms of appearances, vivarta. Therefore, he's saying, no, it's not possible. Bhavat pungsho na eva asti, pungsho neva asti karhichit. So, this particular thing doesn't fundamentally not real. In brief, he gives the conclusion, which we will elaborate in the following verses. So, what he's saying now in the verse number 92, he's saying, look, idanim prarabdam savdam vyutpadayan. Then he's saying, uktam upasangharati. What is that prarabdha? What he's explaining? Tatra karma trividham. There are three kinds of karmas. What is sanchita, kriyamana, prarabdha, vedat? You can distinguish all the sum total of karmas which happen through us, Sula Sukshma Sarira. One is Sanchita Karma, billions of lives have elapsed, and all the karmas that have happened through us, that whole universe of the karmas is called Sanchita Karma. Next one is Prarabdha. The third is Kriyamana. Kriyamana is what is happening during this life, which will give results if it's very acute during this life, or it will give result in the next life, whatever remains of it. So, Tridha, Sanchita, Kriyamana, Prarabdeva. Tanmadhye, among these, Bhavi Deha Arambhakam Sanchitam. Now, we are already here. We have a human body. What body are we going to assume in the next birth? We don't know. Right now, Prarabdha is going to get exhausted. There will be some Kriyamana karma added to Sanchita. So we don't know. So Bhavi Deha Arambhakam is Sanchita karma. Tatha Vartamana Deha Nivartyam. Whatever karma is being performed by us during this life, Nivartana, whatever is being performed by you, that is called Kriyamanam. Prarabdham tu Vartamana Deha Arambhakam. Fine. This life which has started, this body which has started, it started as a result of a particular pay slip which was there, karma pay slip which was given to us by God. The karma pay slip called Prarabdha has given us this body. Tatra yadyapi sanchitam janmantaryam eva. Sanchitam is also Janmantariyam. Prarabdha is also Janmantariyam because Sanchita karma, Prarabdha karma we are not doing in this life. They have been performed in a previous life. Both are Janmantariyam, committed during previous life. Even then, he's saying Tathapi, Bhavi Dehasya Tat Prarabdham Eva Bhavati. So far, the next immediate life, Bhavi Deha, that is Prarabdha karma creates. Sanchita cannot fructify in one life. The whole universe of karma cannot give you results in just one life. We need billions of lives. We have committed these karmas in billions of lives. Therefore, prarabdha is an extract, an abstract of these karmas into a particular program called prarabdha, as a result of which this karmic DNA, which was set as a result of a combination of few factors, that we have taken this particular human form. That is what he's trying to say. And he's saying, Tena idam siddham atmanaha. What he is trying to prove? Atmanaha swadaha kartritva abhavat. Does the Atma have kartritva and bhoktritva? Is the Atma karta and bhokta? Bhagavan says, because of ignorance, we have this delusional self-perception, kartaham, bhoktaham, because of which we are trapped. Atma is not per se karta or bhokta. These are impositions. We have done that, you know, with great details in Bhagavad Gita. Kalatrayapi janma nasti. Therefore, what do you talk about birth? Birth and death, they apply to the Sukshma Sarira, not to the Atma. So you see how the Prarabdha word is being refuted, not fundamentally being refuted. If Sukshma Sarira, birth, karma, dharma, all this will become irrelevant, then Sansara will go for a toss. No, Vedanta is not trying to do it. Vedanta is saying these are all fine, ultimately not to be taken too seriously. Ultimately, only one thing remains to be taken seriously until we have reached there, and that is the Atma Tattva. And then let's go to the verse number 93. He's giving now Sopna Dehe Yathadhyastas Tathevayam Hi Dehakaha Adhyastasya Kuto Janma Janma Bhave Hi Tatkritaha Sopna Deho Yatha Adhyastaha. So go back to dream to make it easy because we have started talking about that little dream. Everybody wants to be children. That's why I have taken that dream for the discussion. So we are all little kids having a great time in a sunlit park. It's springtime, flowers, and people. There are people to take care of us and serve lots of things. We're having fun, playing lots of games and riddles and puzzles and all that. You know, not beating each other up, but having discussion, having games and all that. Then he's saying that little tiny golden body that you had, lovely sun and green grass and flowers and plants and lots of fruits. So you're just having a great time. That particular body you had was not real. Once you wake up, you realized it. Sopna deha yatha adhyastaha. This little body is superimposed on you, on your self, that you can see during the Tejas Avastha Swapna Sukshma Sarira. You see that? Tatha eva ayam dehakaha. Same way after waking up, dehaka is one only. There is a Vyakarana Prakriya. Deha and Dehaka mean the same, this body. Same way you are also seeing this body, which is not per se real in itself. It is superimposed on that self. The way the dream body was superimposed on the self. This physical body, which I can see and touch and feel, is intersubjectively perceptible. This is also, then somebody will say, it's not only you are seeing the body, even others can see the body. In case of a dream, only one person can see your body, and they give this example that what about a dream in which you are watching a film with others? So there are another 20,000 people watching a cricket match. You are watching it in your dream. They are also watching it. And they're talking about the scorecard and who is batting how well and not so well. Is that reality is unreal or real or what? Like you are watching in your dream, there's a debate competition. You are speaking, others are speaking. So intersubjectivity, that is the way they try to refute it. Huh? That is their argument. Then he's saying, Dehakaha adhyastasya kuto janmaha. This snake looks like a young one. It looks like 5 years old, very poisonous. What could be the date of birth of that snake? Where was it born? South India, Africa? How did it come here? It's a king cobra. Looks like one from Africa. No, no, it looks from a king cobra from the Middle East, or sorry, Far East, one of the East Asian nations. They have a lot of king cobras. You see that, but actually it's a rope. So he's saying, Adhyastasya kuto janma, how can something which is superimposed, that means is not real, how can it have a birth? And then, if it cannot have a birth, janma bhave, hitat kutaha, janma karana bhavi deha arambhaka is prarabdha. Next body is getting because of your prarabdha karma. But what you are getting is an illusion. It's just a superimposition, not fundamentally true. Then can prarabdha be true? Second refutation is saying. Third one. Then he's saying, somebody might say, why is the body illusory when some Upanishads, some Puranas do talk about the body? They talk about the body and mind and stuff like that is created by God. How can that be completely illusory? Don't argue like that. Then he's answering in the verse number 94. Upadanam prapanchasya mrudbhandasyev kathyate ajnanam saiva vedantas tasmin naste kwa vishwata. Upadanam prapanchasya, the material cause of the sansara, of the prapancha. Mrudbhandasya iva kathyate, we talk as if out of clay, the clay pot is made. Same way, the sansara is made of something. There is some material cause. And what is that? That material is cause is called ajnana. The nimitta karana is called Ishvara, is abhinna nimitta upadana karana, jatha urnanavihi, like the spider. And how we give these examples? We say that that saliva of the of the spider, which weaves the net, out of his own saliva, that is jada, that is the matter, and out of which this material cause, it creates this net. And that very spider, out of his own intelligence and agency, is able to plan and execute this whole dream of having a big net to trap other insects for its food. So the ascent spider becomes nimitta karana. So Bhagavan is avinna nimitta upadana karana, because he doesn't use any material to create this universe. He manifests everything out of himself, because there is no God and some material meant for the universe. That will be Dvaitapatti. There are two things, not one universal truth or Param Brahma, nothing of that sort. Now we are talking about God and his help and tools and techniques and materials and stuff like that. No, he just wishes things happen. Therefore, he's saying in the verse number, Upadanam prapanchasya mridbhandasyeva kathyate. And what is the material cause of the universe? Ajnanam cheva vedanta. This ajnana is the material cause of this universe. That is what the Vedanta says. Tasmin naste. And when this ajnana gets destroyed, you had purchased some fine muslin to weave a carpet or a chadar or something, a blanket or something. You wanted to create something. And that material was there and it got burnt. Will you be able to create that particular artifact or article that you wanted to create out of this material? No, you cannot. Now, if ajnana gets destroyed, how can this whole sarira, which is we say is a product of prarabdha, be real? That's not possible. So, Kva Vishwata, where from you have got an argument to argue that this whole Vishwa, which is product of Ajnana, once Ajnana is destroyed, what is the Vishwa? But we have discussed it earlier, doesn't mean that Jnana is like a nuclear bomb which will nuke the whole real world once your Atma Jnana. That is not the idea. This whole real outside world is actually unreal. And therefore, this ajnana is only sort of what they call badhita vritya. The sky will continue to look blue, the desert will continue to look blue and will confuse that with a lake. These things will continue to happen. So far, we have the body and this and that. Prarabdha language is also going to be used. We have no problem. But we know these are fundamentally not real. That is the significant, yet a very subtle difference that we need to understand and internalize in our understanding. Kwa Vishwata, the commentator, says a few things which are interesting. Therefore, I'm reading it. Nanu, dehadi prapanchasya yatoba imani bhutani, out of which this whole bhutavarga, everything, they have been born, and then because of which they survive, and then they go and get dissolved there. That is Shruti Vakya. He's saying Satya Brahmajanyatvad. The sansara is not created by any Maya or anything. Brahman, Bhagavan has created everything. Katham, why? Pratibhasikatvam, why are you saying the sansara is delusional? God has created something delusional. That's a powerful Vaishnava argument. The Shaiva argument. They say sansara is not a delusion. Why should God be wasting his time to create a delusion? Sankara says, look, God actually never did anything. Who did it? You did it. How? By not realizing the truth. You have actually not done anything bad. You have not done anything good either. That's your problem. And what is the good? Know yourself. Once you know, then you are not perturbed until you have done it. Then the load of ignorance will show its results in your lives. That's what he's trying to say. So what he's saying, atra karanam dvividham. There are two kinds of causes for any product. One is nimitta upadana vedat. One is nimitta karana, the other one is upadana karana. Then he's going to give you a few nomenclatural definitions for us to understand. And these are like, hand notes that a professor gives to the students. He's giving that to us. What is nimitta karana? You see, the mom prepares pudding or let's say some sweet dish for the children. What is the material cause? Things like milk and some baking powder and some maybe flour and stuff like that. Dry fruits, these are the material causes. Mom is the nimitta karana, the efficient cause. And when the cake is made, the cake children will have and children will carry it for the picnic party. Mom doesn't have to go with them. Nimitta karana is not physically present in the product, but material cause, the upadana karana, is ever associated with the karya. That is explaining here. Atra nimittam namotpatti matra karanam. Namotpatti, because nothing is real. So that particular name and form, that particular thing, like a piece of gold, 10 grams, it has assumed the form of a chain. The goldsmith is the nimitta karana. The material cause is gold. So nama matra utpatti karanam. That it has that chain, golden chain, it's a chain. So the gold what gets dropped, chain gets, as a substitute. That is the what? Material cause, gold. And upadana karana is what? So that is nimitta karana, the goldsmith. It's giving it a name. It's a golden chain, it's a bracelet, it's a earring. I made a mistake. So the nimitta karana. He creates that name and form is the creator. He imagines, he gives it that name and form. What is upadana? Upadanam to utpati sthiti laya karanam. Upadana is something out of which the chain is created. Utpati, sthiti, it remains as gold. Laya, you break it, again it becomes gold. So utpati, sthiti, and laya, all three avasthas are there in that gold. Laya, karanam. It's cause of all three. Tatra Vedantehi, Vedantehi matlab Vedanta Vidvihi, those who are Vedanta Vid, those who are the wise men who have mastered the science of Vedanta. And the Vedanta means here, the Shruti Shastrehi, all the Vedanta matlab Vedanta Shastrehi. What does this Vakya say? Mayam tu Prakriti Vidyat, Mainam tu Maheshwara. Please know that Maya is Prakriti, Mainam tu Maheshwaram. Is the Mai. Mai is what? This Maya delusional power is kind of the Adhara, or it's the Ashraya of this. It embeds in Ishvara. Maya embeds in Ishvara. That is what I'm trying to say. Ityadivi prapanjasya upadana karanam ajnanam pathyate chakarat brahmapi. That Brahma, because ajnana cannot have any independence out of Brahma, that Brahman with his ajnana upadhi creates this sansara. Atrayam bhavaha. This is what is the conclusion here. This is the most important part of the commentary. Now kevalam brahma eva jagat karanam. Brahman cannot create. Why? Nirvikalpatvat. It is nirvikalpa, nirakara, niskriya, nirmala. How can it do anything? It cannot. It is that andha pangunyaya in Sankhya. That there's a person who doesn't have eyes but a very healthy body. The other one doesn't have legs but a healthy set of eyes. Two pairs of beautiful pair of very clear eyes. So then this Pangu who is blind carries this particular person, either on a wheelchair or on his body, carries that Pangu, the lame person who has beautiful, good, sharp eyes. And he directs him, you go this way, that way. So somebody is physically weak but a very sharp mind. He becomes the advisor to the other one who has got a very strong body but a stupid mind. They are friends, very difficult to deal with them. The weak one always advises them because he's mentally very intelligent and sharp. That is Sankhya Mata, Purusha and Prakriti. The Sansara is created by Prakriti, but the Purusha is that intelligence, that Chit Shakti. That is what Sankhya says. The same thing he's saying in different words. He's saying what? The Brahman is in Nirvikalpaka. He cannot create. And then what is the problem with then let Maya create? Then he's saying, look here. Napi kevalam ajnanam. Ajnana also cannot create. Maya cannot create. Why? Jadadvat. Maya is jada. But I'll clarify you again and again. The Maya is jada in both Vedanta, certain schools of Vedanta, and also in Sankhya. If you go to Sivadvaita, Kashmiri Saivism, Sivadvaita or Vaishnavadvaita, that Maya, especially in Shivadvaita, she's Chinmay Satta. That's why we did the Navaratris. Is Chinmaya Chidrupa. And therefore, she's Swayang Brahma Surupini. She's also Swatantra. She's also Anadi. She's also Sanatani. All these words are there. So their Prakriti is different. Their Prakriti is the intelligence of Lord Shiva, the consciousness of Lord Shiva. She's not like Jada and stuff like that. Well, that's a different discourse. Tasmad Uvayang Militva Eva, therefore Jada and Chaitanya, Prakriti and Purusha, Maya and Mayadhisha, Parameshwara, Militva Eva, Jagat Karanam Bhavati. Together they are the cause of the sansara, and therefore one of the Shruti Vakya says, Satya Nrite, Anrita, Ritam, means truth, Anritam, not truth. Satya and Anrita means falsehood and truth both together. Satya Nrite, Mithini Karoti. It's a kind of copulation of falsehood and truth. That is how the sansara is appearing. Ityadi Srutehe. They together come and create this. Tatra Drishtantaha Bhandasya Ghatakarakaadehe. Karaka is that kamandal, they carry water. Ghata or big pitcher. Mrud eva mritpindam eva. So finally, it's clay that has become this material cause of these material, the forms like a big pitcher or maybe a kamandal in which they carry water. Jalastane, which they carry water. Avarakatva samyat. Both of them are more or less same. They are able to hold water. Tatra brahmanaha abhinasitvat. But the Brahma is avinasi. There is no end. Brahma jnanena. Once you have Brahma jnana, tasmin jnani eva naste sati. Once you have Brahma jnana, ajnana gets destroyed. Vishwata, Jiva, Jagat, Ishwaratmak, Jagat Bhavaha. Ko. Where from you get this Jiva, Ishwara, Jagat and all these? Because of Ajnana. Okay. Is Ajnana there after Jnana? Can Jnana and Ajnana coexist? No, sir, they cannot. They cannot. Fine. Then Vishwa, is it real? Because Ajnana creates this samsara, you only yourself said, Shruti says it. No, it cannot. Then why does it appear? Because of Ajnana. So far it appears you are not really Jnani. When it ceases to appear, then you are Jnani. But then still it appears. No, that is Badhita Vrittya. It appears, but you are absolutely not affected. That is because of mechanical problem of this whole mind and eyes and asanskaras. They will come and appear, not fundamentally real, bothering nobody. Then he's further going Further, to explain it much easily, 2 3 verses will do. We have about 6 minutes. Yatha rajjum parityajya sarpam grinhati vibhramat tadvat satyam avigyaya yagada pasyati mudhadihi rajju rupe parigyate sarpa bhrantirena tishtati adhisthane tatha gyate prapancha punyatam bhavet. Now he's saying beautifully, let's look at it, what he's trying to say. Yatha rajjum paritajya sarpam grunnati ve. For what? Brahma. There is a rope lying on a bed. It's a dark bedroom. You confuse that as snake. That means rajjum paritajya, rajju kyanam paritajya. Without accepting that as a rope, you mistook it for a snake. Tadvat, same way, Satyam Abhigyaya, Satyam, that Brahman alone is true without knowing it. Jagata Pasyati Mudhatihi, the unintelligent considers this whole samsara as fundamentally real. But we know we are all going to go. Today, only a few hours earlier, very dear younger brother of mine, yesterday he went to a temple and he did puja, and I received a video. After 2 hours, he was gone. This whole sansara appears so dear to us and we are so possessive about it. We never know. Next morning, the sata may be down and we are off from this place. What is off from this? Bhagavad Gita has told us is Sukshma Sarira. Stula Sarira will fall, Sukshma Sarira will go. The real Sarira, the real Atma, no, it was nowhere here and it was everywhere. So there is no going and coming applicable to it. That is what Vedanta tries to tell us to help us liberate ourselves from a lot of self superimposed obsessions. Then in the next verse, he says, Rajju Rupe Parikyate. Once you switch on the lamp and you see this rope, Sarpa Vrantihi Natishtati. Are you scared of the snake anymore? Do you see it as a snake anymore? No, you don't. Adhisthane tatha jnate, now drashtantika. In our Vedantic context, the Adhisthana Sarvadhisthana Atma, the Brahman, the Parameshwara, once you have knowledge of him, Prapancha Sunyatam Brajet. Prapancha, which this whole Vishwa is full of so many things, so many experiences. Sunyatam Brajet, it loses its importance, it becomes vacuous. There's nothing in it. That is what he's trying to say. The commentary, there's nothing much. He's saying, Idanim yad uktam tasmin naste kva vishwata. Once again is destroyed, what Vishwa we're talking about, that is what is explained in these 2 verses. And then let's do one more verse, smaller one. Dehasyapi prapanchatvat prarabdhavastitihi kutaha ajnani nijabodhartham prarabdham bhakti ve srutihi. Somebody might say, if prarabdha is delusional, body is delusional, jivatma is delusional, all these are delusional. Okay, I accept. Tell me, I am stupid, that's why I'm accepting this whole sansara, this phenomenal world is real. Are you trying to tell me that the Vedas are also stupid and they are unintelligent people who have written these words? No, it's all God's writing. Oh, really? Then why should God write about it? You have to explain it. Therefore, he's answering. He's saying, what is the answer? He's saying, Dehasya api prapanchatvat. This body is also prapancha. This is one manifestation. Prarabdha avasthiti kutaha. So where can prarabdha be real? Whatever is prapancha, it's all gone. The body itself is gone once you have jnana. Then how can you have prarabdha avasthiti? If it's a deha arambhaka. If there is a deha, then prarabdha. If cause is effect is there, you can talk about cause. There is a mischievous boy or a girl in your classroom. So there is some noise, and you know that boy is present in the class. No one else can do it. So cause is there. But that boy isn't there. Then somebody shouts, you say, no, it has to be something else because it cannot be mischief. There's something real, some problem in the class. So you rush to the classroom. Similarly, he's saying when body itself is prapancha and the prapancha is getting irrelevant after Evatma Jnana, the body is not there. Body becomes irrelevant. What is the relevance of his cause called prarabdha? It cannot be relevant. That is what he's trying to say. Then why should Shruti talk about? He's saying ajnana janabodhartham. Everybody is not realized, my boy. It's for those people, in order to bring them onto the dharma marga, remove their attention from the pratisiddha marga. They have to do karmas and upasanas and pujas and sadhanas. It's for them that I use the word prarabdha. The Shruti, me means all the Vedas. Prarabdha, they're from bhakti. They say, who? The Shruti, the Vedantas, the Upanishads. So we'll keep it here. There's a bit of a, there's not much, it's very simple. Then 98 onwards, we will do it in the coming classes. So, any questions you can ask, but I'm putting it. Any questions? I'm putting an end to the live stream. Any questions you can ask, or you can do this